Understand this that we discussed before about bringing down Elikus into the world. Is the idea of tshuva kadma la'olam. Kadma la'olam means that it is higher. Doesn't mean it was before the world's creation, because if there was no creation of the world, there was no sin, there's nothing to do tshuva for. But it means before the world means it's higher than the world, it's higher than Ishtalshlus, it's higher than Zman to connect. So to understand this, Tzarich Lahavin, Pirush L'Shem Yichud Kudsha B'richa. So we say before the davening, before we do the Baruch She'amar, we say that this is for the purpose of Yichud Kudsha B'richa Shchinta, to unite Kudsha B'richa Shchinta. So he says Shemisiyasid Koidem HaTfilah. That has been established before the davening for the purpose of Liyachdo Shem Yudke B'Vavke B'Yichud Shlim, to unite the name of Hashem, the Yudke of the name of Hashem, and the name of the Vavke of the Shem Hashem, B'Yichud Shlim, with a true unity. What does it mean that we are going to unite the Yichud Kudsha B'richu, the Yudke and the Vavke? The Gam, Lahavin, and also to understand Pirush Ois Yesh Shel Shem Havaya Baruch. What is the meaning of the letters? You have the Yud, and you have the Hey, and you have the Vav, the K. What are the meaning of these letters of the Shem Havaya? The Hine Hayud Moira Al Hatzimtzum. The Yud, the letter Yud, which is a very small letter, that points to the restriction, Hatzimtzum. Because the main part of Torah mitzvahs is liyas loy dira b'tachtonim, is to make for Hashem a dwelling place in the lower world. How could we make a dwelling place for Hashem b'tachtonim? There has to be a tzimtzum in order. There has to be that letter Yud, that tzimtzum, in order for us to make a dira b'tachtonim. Because all the worlds, and Bizman, they are all in the gather of Zman. Whether the upper, the lower levels of the worlds are all in time. They're time bound. They're in level of Zman. Shehu. This whole time thing is keregel of Baruch Hu. That is like an instant before Hashem blessed, etc. So basically, you see that we need to bring down Hashem, which is higher than time, into a place which is time-bound, which is very restricted. That's the level of Yud. So for that, it's necessary many levels and restrictions, the ishtalshelus and ishtalshelus, so that it evolves from one to the other level, so that there should be the level of time. And what is the level of the restrictions? Hainu, that is, that he should remove the level of his essence totally. Totally remove that his essence is not going to be present or felt. Shehi b'chinas ein sof, because the atzmus is infinite. The yishre b'zman, and he should rest in zman ugvul, in time and in boundaries. So what's the meaning of the letter Yud? Is the restriction to bring down the Ein Sof into the level of Zman. The only way to do that is through restriction and removal, so that the essence, the Atzma, should not be felt. The Ein Sof should not come down. Then you have the level of Hey. Then we have the letter of Hey. Shehu is Pashtus Oirech V'Recham. That is expanding both in the width and the land, light and the land. This is also the image of the letter Hey, which is both wide and also high. That represents when the oir that comes down through the yud and tzimtzum expands both in width and length. And v'achar kach vav, and then comes the vav. Shehu hamshocha v'ashamayim mimal v'al-oretz mitochas. That is extending it into the heavens above and to the earth below. Then uledalet sitrin, and to the four corners. V'chinas vav k'tzavas. That has the 6 sides. The letter vav is the number 6, and you have shemayim v'oretz and the 4 sides. That's 6. That is expanding. We're talking about in the physical place. 4 corners and shemayim and oretz. V'gam, and also includes also shemayim ruchnim. We're talking also about shemayim ruchnim. Sheheim b'chinas ava v'yira. That represents the level of love and fear. Kulu, which shemayim is made up from eish umayim. Level of eish is the level of gvura, and the level of mayim, the level of chesed, the level of ahava. The level eish is level of yira, mayim level. Zohu b'chinas havav, shehu hamshochas elokuseim b'maylo l'mata. This is the level of the vav. The vav is the line that extends and brings down his godliness from above to below. V'achar kach b'chinas heitata. And then you have the lower level of the hate. And likewise, in all of the hishtalshus of the world. So this is, we're talking about the general, to create a level of Zman from higher, from the Ein Sof, but within hishtalshus of the worlds, from one to the other, may olam ve'ad olam, as it comes from one world to the next world. Nase tzimtzum v'hashpashtus hamshocha. There is a tzimtzum, that's the yud, and then you have the hispashtus, that is the hey, and then you have the hamshocha, which is the vav, and then you have a further hispashtus, which is the second hey, the hey achrena. The loche nikra, and that's why it's called olam, the loshen helam. Every word is called an olam because olam comes from the level of obscure. Sheheli v'histir atzmusa yisborech, because he obscured and he hid his blessed essence so that it shouldn't be revealed. That's why it is an olam. And this is the meaning of teshuva kodma la'olam, that teshuva reaches higher than the helam v'hester. Olam blocks, obscures, does not allow for the appreciation of the Ein Sof, to see Ein Sof, but teshuva goes higher than helam. V'ayim ashekosu me'inyan teshuva v'dibra hamaschel k'amitzvah azois asher anochi mitzav cholu ayin shom. And further, b'medrash Bereishis Rabbe Shom Isa, Meir says, "Udir shenemar b'terem horim yulodu." That b'terem horim yulodu, meaning before the mountains were created. That is talking about the creation of the world. The mountains were created. That means the world was created. So b'terem horim yulodu. So before the mountains were created, ma'oisa hasho, from that time, Toshem Enish Chulu Adako. You already the return of Enish. So basically, that Teshuvah, Toshev Enish, comes before V'terem Horim Milod. Hainu, Moshe Kosu B'divrei HaMaschil, Yehorim Yamushu, Chulu. He says the mountains will move, but the Chazdei Me'itich Lo Yamush, but my kindness from you will not move. Amam Rachmech Hashem. Says the one who has compassion for you, Hashem. What does that mean? So it explains in the Mamer, Shazah Pasuk Medaber. This pasuk is talking of Begilu Rachamim Gedolim La'osid Lovei Al Yidei HaTshuva, the revelation of the great compassion in the future to come through Tshuva, that eventually in the Osid, when the Yidden will do Teshuvah, so then there will be this Merachmech Hashem Lo Yomush Nidach Lo Yomush Haimnet V'azai Harim Yomush Chulu Einshel, and then the mountains will move Einshel. That is, so why is that? Behind Lefi Ki HaTshuva Hi Mebchinas Madregas. Tshuva is from the legacy of the Terem Harim Yuladu, which means that Shekodmo Le'olam, it comes before the world. Shehi Gilui Mebchinas Anoichi Misha Anoichi. You have the revelation, the level of Tshuva reveals the level of Anoichi Misha Anoichi Chulu Shalamaylo Mebchinas Hatzimtzumim L'Shem Havaya Liyas Olam Behelim. The level of Anoichi, the level of Atzmus, the level of Ein Sof is a higher level than the Tzimtzumim of the Shem Havaya, which is in order to create the world. And the block that comes Shem Havaya, Yud Kei Vav Kei, the letters. This is Anoichi, this is higher. The Hainu, L'Mayla, Afilu Me'olam HaAtzilus, this is even higher than the world of Atzilus, Shemekabel, Mibchinas HaYud Shem Havaya, which is a recipient from the Yud of the Shem Havaya. Zau Pirush HaYichud, and this is the meaning of the unity. We're saying the Shem Yichud, to unite. This is the meaning of the unity, which means Sheyiya Yochidu Meyuchad Achar HaTzimtzum V'His Pashtus, that it should be one and only after the restriction and expansion, just like before, without any change. So what do we want to do a yichud? The yichud means that here below there should be a revelation. When the world was created, there was a Helen. In order for the world, which is in a lower level, in order to be created, there had to be the level of obscurity. But we are saying there should be a yichud to bring down the higher level in below. But in this physical world, that yichud, when we say l'shem yichud, it is not complete. Only until the time of Mashiach. Then eye to eye they will see, and all flesh will see. That's going to be when Mashiach comes. So this physical world, we can't see the yichud. But in the upper world, Gam ato yocholasis a yichud she's gali yachto. Yichude, she's gali yichude. We can also now times before in Zman Hazeh, before you base Mashiach, we could have that yichud in the Olam HaSelyonim, not in Olam HaStachton, but else. It's talking about La'osid. It says, and you will appear in the glory of the Ga'oinu Zecha, your strength, your greatness of your strength, Pirush. What does that mean? What does it mean? Sheya'iru Hayudin v'Havavim, that the Yudin and the Vavim, the Tzimtzumim that every world experiences, that we said before, the level of Yud and Tzimtzum, his passion, every world will be shining, Shem, Bechinas, Tzimtzumim, the Yishtal Shalom, Shochas, Vahoris, Oyer Elyon. They are the Tzimtzumim, the restrictions and the Yishtal involvement of Shochas, Vahoris, Oyer Elyon. So they're going to shine. What does it mean? I'm Shari Yichudim Perik Zayin, Ubemishnas Chasidim Meseches Hayichud Perik Dalet. So then, then it will shine the light of Ein Sof also below, which afilu ba'olam hazeh, even in this world, ad to the extent it will shine, that every effect would know this goes on all creations. They will have that recognition, that appreciation. They will know. The Sefer Mamer Mechia, this end of the statement is proof. Then what does it mean? Sha'hakoil yedu v'yasigu l'kusu yizbarach. And everybody will understand that and grasp his blessed godliness, that there is nothing besides Hashem. So this is v'yeda b'hoifa shezehu la'osi love. This is in the future to come. Shekol kach yoyir v'yizgala eidin sobaruchu is going to be such a shine and a revelation of the blessed light of the Ein Sof, ad nitfas gamkim b'seichel ha'anushi u'musig b'asog ha'gashvis, to the extent that it's going to be grasped in the human intellect, and we'll understand it with the physical. That's going to be when the Asid Lavoi, we're going to be able to have a grasp of the Ein Sof. Mashen came bizman shein gilu Ein Sof, ela b'nefesh l'kis shelo yivda havaya, as opposed to the time when there is no revelation of the Ein Sof. The only place where it comes out is not in the world. It's only the nefesh alikis shalev davaya. In the godly soul of those who serve Hashem, you can have that level of ha'oreh and shine and revelation in the person's understanding, and the understanding of the Eved Havaya, one who davens and one who serves Hashem, and he has that level of revelation there in Sof. And even by the Eved Havaya, Avgam Zois, Eina B'Bchinas HaSogem. Even by the Eved Havaya, it's not the Pshat, it doesn't, not in the level of grasping, Ela B'Bchinas Amuna, whether it's in the way of belief, Asher Hi Yerusha Me'avis, which is an inheritance from our fathers. What does it say in the future to come when the Ein Sof will be revealed? So there the pasuk says, they will come in the caves of the stones, offer in the tunnels of the sand. They'll all run away from the fear of Havaya and from the glory, the splendor of his greatness, because it'll be such a revelation, so that the people will sort of run away and hide from it. Because of the revelation of the splendor of Hashem's greatness, of his strength, which is the Yudin and the Vavim, which is the Tzimtzum and the Vavim, when they will be Nizkala, so the full force of the Ein Sof and this Khalil, so that will cause people to sort of hide from that powerful revelation. The Loshen Hadar Ge'oinei, what is we say the splendor of his goin, of his greatness or holiness. Yuman al derech mashakos b'mokem achar will understand it, similar to what it's explained elsewhere. The pirush ki goi go'achul u'mishom u'hamshochas hayudin vovin hanal. From there comes the hamshocha of the yudin vovin. Liyus hagilui achar hatzimtzumim k'may koydem hatzimtzumim. That there shall be the contraction, the restriction, the revelation after the restrictions should be like before the restriction. This means from the depth, meaning from beyond, beyond the restrictions, which because of the Mask Shuv Yisrael Azai. And then tipoil aimov the gashmis mamash. Then there will be a dread and a fear physically from this great vision. That all flesh will see and grasp the act of Hashem in this physical world, in the physical human intellect, so that the physicality of the world and the person should not obscure and block the Eir Havaya. That's going to be through the revelation of Gimel. The revelation of this unity. Unity means that the higher level of the world comes into the world, that the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, the blessed Sof, will be revealed. Which is for Ishtalshlus, Ulamailo min Hazman, and higher than time. The Mato Meseder Ishtalshlus, to be below, to connect in the order of Ishtalshlus. Shetchilas Hazman hu Mizgala, Mato Meseder Ishtalshlus. Shetchilas Hazman. So Shetchilas Hazman or Shabitchilas Hazman? The matter beseder ishtalshlus. Shabitchilas. Shetchilas. Azman. Okay, that is the beginning of time. Okay. Yeah. Shetchilas Azman, which is the beginning of time. Umizgale b'Baal Tshuva. That is revealed. In order to get that's revealed by us, Baal Tshuva, Sheshov El Havaya B'Chol Nafshem, who returns to Hashem with all of his soul and all of his being, B'Chlois HaNefesh, B'Umka Deliba, by expiration of the soul from the depth of the heart. That brings down the level of higher Ishtalshlus into this man. Ke'alidei HaTshuva Zu, Nimshich loy ha'ora milmaylo me'erin sof baruch hu. Me'erin sof shelifnei ishtalshus ma'erin hazman. Because through Teshuvah, it extends to the person this shine from above, from which is higher than Erin Sof, which is before ishtalshus and higher than time. It says Shuhu Bechinas, that would be the level. Amisnase mimesh olam, who raises from the days, or is higher. This is the level who was raised. Misnase mimesh olam, he's higher than the mimesh olam days of the world. Kloimer, to say, shehu meroimam lemaylo maylo mibchinas umadregas yimei olam. He is higher and higher than the level in Madrega Yimei Olam. Yimei Olam, the Yimei Olam. The different expressions. Yimei Olam, Yimei Olam. K'mashikosut mizeh b'dibur ha'maschil atem nitzom. It says the Mamer Mitzvah. V'hainu shebchinas Yemois Olam, the level of Yemois Olam, Hey Mokar V'Shoresh Hazman. That's the source and the root of time. V'nikra, and that's called Elef Shonim Beinecha, 1,000 years Kiyom Esva. So that's not really time, but it's a Mokar. This is not actual time. Why? It is 1,000 years together. It's still a source for the level of Zman. And the far Nikra, that's what we call it. It's Yemois Olam. Aval who is Baruch Ba'atzmei, but the Eibishter by himself, Misnase, Umeremam le'ein ketz mibchinas yemim elu. He is exalted and raised infinitely beyond these days. Kihu l'mayla mehazman legamri, he is totally higher than time. So what happens? Through extending and bringing down this amshach, this shine, Gama Odom Yimas Chaya Hazman. The person will also refuse the life, the temporary life of the time. And L'dovka Ben Yisov Baruch Ha'atzim Mamash Kanal, he wants to connect to the Ein Sof. Af mi she'ein daitoi yofe kol kach L'dovka Boi Machmas even one whose mind is not so developed, is not so good, so that he should want to cleave to Hashem because of the realization of the greatness and the exaltness of the Ein Sof Baruch Mamash. Rak he's just uncomfortable with his place and the time. Havli Hazman, that he is being drawn after the vanities of the time. Ubachoshech Shmoi Yechusa. So this is a pasuk in Koheles that basically the person is in darkness, in the not recognition, and he recognizes his value and how degrading he is. And he becomes, in his own eyes, degraded. Because he is called bad and maneuvered, rejected, disgusting. So he may not be able to connect to Hashem because of rare appreciation, but yet he's not happy with his own standing. So even that person who is in that level is not fully connected. Still, since he refuses, he's disgusted with his life, it is the life of time, so then automatically extends upon him chesed avaya, the kindness of avaya. Liyesh bagilu ein sof baruch hu shel lifnei ha'ishtalshlus u'lemaylo mehazman, and that is before ishtalshlus and higher than zman. He too gets it. Ki godel koyach ha'chesed elyon shemispashel ein ketz v'tachlis, because the power of chesed, of the supreme chesed, is so great that it expands in case with tachlis to no end and no limits. Like water that goes from a high to a low place. On the contrary, In a place where it's very low, they are gathered more. So basically, in a lower place, there's more of the water that goes there. So likewise, this supreme chesed extends and expands dafke, the low place, which is the hainu b'mi sheshofel, by somebody who is humble, the nivze be'enov, and the great in his eyes. Nimas, shovel be'enov, nivze be'enov, nimas. The gam, what's the next word?
Liyis.
Oh, gam liyis. Okay, I made some mistake, a printing mistake here. The gam liyis b'chinas chesed v'rachamim. And also, when we say that there should be a level of chesed v'rachamim, that only really goes somebody who needs kindness and compassion. So you need to be on a low level. So if you consider yourself low, then you get the compassion. Commercial Mishu, who talks with say, for example, one who was captured in prison, he's not able even to go ahead around and collect around the door. He's locked up. So the kindness and the compassion in the hearts of people, Allah, to the extent they bring him food and bread and food into the prison. The chesed elyon is drawn by itself automatically onto the person who's very uncomfortable that he's caught up in the incarceration of the body and the animal soul. This passion of the until he wishes and he yearns very much to undress from the dirty garments. And his life is not life. He doesn't enjoy his life enough. And therefore he arouses great compassion okay, let's leave it over here. Okay, so listen.